From the Sunflower Shoppe, this is the Healthy Approach Podcast. I'm Bryan Bradford. They say that an apple a day keeps the doctor away. But is that apple still as nutritious as it once was, say back in 1950? Data collected from the U.S. government shows that the nutritional content of America's fruits and vegetables has declined during the past 60 years, and in some cases, dramatically. Modern farming methods are being blamed as farmers have turned to the fastest growing and greatest producing plants. This means the plant has less time to be able to uptake or synthesize nutrients as it once did. And in many cases, the crops are being grown in nutrient-depleted soil. Something needs to change, and it looks like that change is starting with New Chapter supplements. They have teamed up with the Rodale Institute to prove that soil health equals human health. Back with me today is Charlotte Tross, a Board Certified Master Herbalist with a certificate in nutrition from Stanford University. She is also the Director of Education for New Chapter Supplements. Welcome to the show, Charlotte.
Thank you so much. It's great to be here.
Well, thanks so much for being on today. I want to start with a quote from Jeff Moyer, the CEO of Rodale Institute. And he said this, he said, "Today you have to eat as much as 26 apples to get the same amount of nutrition that you did 50 years ago." So why is an apple not as nutritious today as it was back then?
Well, a lot of our food isn't being grown for nutrient density. It's being grown for yield. It's like, oh, well, how much food can we get out of this plot of land, right? The problem with that is that, an apple is less nutrient dense than it was in the 1970s. There's all this great research out there that says, hey, your food is less nutrient dense than it was before. And there's a lot of reasons for it. But one of the big reasons is that we're overusing the soil. We're planting and replanting too quickly. We're not looking at how nutrient dense our food is. We're just looking at how much food we're getting. And in some cases, especially with GMOs, it's like how pretty our food is, right? It's like,
that's right.
It doesn't matter how much vitamin C our oranges have. It matters that they're gorgeous, right? And that they don't bruise if they fall. And that's what we were, passionate about exploring at New Chapter, because we're all about nutrition and we're all about helping people become their own health advocate. And so, that really motivated us to start looking into regenerative agriculture.
And that's where I want to start, because I know y'all teamed up with the Rodale Institute, and y'all are doing this regenerative agriculture. So tell me, why is this important? And first off, really, what is it?
Sure. So, first of all, I think that we have to be aware that we're kind of in a bit of a topsoil crisis. Our topsoil is not as rich and prepared to grow plants as it once was. In fact, a lot of our topsoil, about 50%, has been lost due to poor agricultural practices. And so at this rate, if we don't start working on our topsoil, then we can actually deplete it probably within the next 60 years, was the estimate that was given in 2017. So that's within our lifetimes, right? And so we had to, really start looking for solutions. And the Rodale Institute are leaders in regenerative agriculture. And we wanted to partner with them. Well, we always joke that we're married to them, and that, because it's a marriage and it's going to last a really long time, because we love the work that they're doing. But Robert Rodale actually coined the term regenerative organic. And, that's where regenerative agriculture kind of came from. And it really identifies, holistic practices that go beyond organic standards to build your soil's resilience and encourage, continuous improvement of that soil. And so what does that mean, right? All right. Yeah. So first of all, it means, that you have a rich, healthy soil that's capable of growing nutrient-dense food. So how you do that, there's multiple methods that get you there. The first one is organic, okay? It's really important to be growing organically. That's like the first step towards regenerative. The next is that, you want to make sure that you're using no-till and low-till methods. And that really enables, healthy roots and biomass to accumulate below the soil and helps to retain water. Now, water retention is really important when you're talking about soil, because every % increase of organic matter in soil can soak up about 20 to 60,000 gallons of water. And when you think about how much of our earth is suffering from droughts, like right now you're reading about droughts in Iowa, and drought-like conditions there. Drought-like conditions happen all over the world, especially in India. This is, again, why it's so important to be paying attention to our soil, because our soil is one of our best tools to combat drought, but it's also one of our best tools to combat climate change. Mm-hmm. And that's because carbon actually can be kept in the soil where you want it and out of the atmosphere where you don't. So it lowers the CO2 in our atmosphere overall, helping to reduce climate change, which is fantastic. So lots of reasons. And microbial diversity, you definitely want to have huge, right? It's really important to have healthy bacteria. We talk about healthy bacteria in our bodies all the time with like probiotics, right? And so you don't think about the fact that your soil also needs to have microbial diversity and have healthy bacteria within it. And that helps to build healthy topsoil and helps to build healthy plants as well.
That's right. And that's really some of the big problems we have in America, right? As far as our growing and our farmland, we're just stripping the soil away of all those nutrients and microbes in many cases. We're not able to, replenish the soil like we used to, because everybody's trying to grow faster and faster growing, producing plants, which means the nutrients really don't uptake as much as they used to. So this is pretty interesting to me, because I'm sort of a farmer at heart, or at least a wannabe farmer. I've raised chickens and goats and pigs and so forth. But the farming technique has always been just amazing to me about how to get rich soil. And that's why what the Rodale Institute and New Chapters really done in teaming up is very important to the whole farming future and the soil future for sure. So tell us about the partnership New Chapter has with Rodale Institute and the work that they're doing right now.
Yeah, well, we're happy to support their research. They're doing a lot of research about the best way to employ regenerative methods in commercial farming practices, which is really important because, again, there's a couple of key elements about regenerative agriculture. One is that, organic is important to get you to regenerative. So it's important to educate on the need for organic. Two is you really have to be aware of how you're going to implement these systems on a commercial scale to get people to, see the value here. And why that's especially important is because, like you were talking, I think we're all we all who have gardens, and we're all a little bit of a farmer at heart, right? And our farmers need our help right now. There's a reason that people grow organically. We're trying to really help get that methodology out there because people need to see the value in it. But we also need to make organic fruits and vegetables the standard in the United States. We have to quit saying like, oh, well, it's organic, so it's, $5 more or $10 more and it's That's more expensive, but it's organic, right? No, it should all be organic, in my opinion. Like, this is a Charlotte Tross opinion. Like, why we would not be growing organically all of the time is kind of beyond me. And so we partner with the Rodale Institute because they also have a lot of educational methods of how they're going out and talking to farmers and trying to engage them and educate them on these farming practices and how they can support their farming business, but at the same time support our planet, support people, and support our nutritional needs. And that seems like a perfect marriage to me because, again, at New Chapter, we make dietary supplements, right? And sometimes people are like, oh, that's like, you take your vitamin, you don't have to eat that day. And I'm like, no. Like, I love the idea, right? Like, it's so futuristic Jetsons, right? Like, oh, I took my pill today, I'm done. And those of us, who have children and especially don't like to slow down in the morning, just want to make that easy, commitment. But at the same time, your food is so important, and it's important to your children's development and it's important to your development. And supplements do just that. They supplement your food. And I would like to say that I eat perfectly all the time. I think everybody would like to eat perfectly all the time, but we don't. And that's where supplements come in. They help support your body. They're like nutritional insurance, and they support your body's nutritional needs. And even, with organic farming methods and stuff. I like to say that I would never eat French fries again, but who are we kidding? Come on.
That is so true. I saw a statement on your website that I really think sums up what you just said. It said, soil health equals human health. And I think that's that's it right there. I mean, what we get from the soil is what we're putting in our body, and that determines our health in the long run. So I think it's so important, like you said, that we're eating properly and getting the best nutrients from the foods possible. But it starts with those farming techniques, and that's why I think this is a great thing that y'all are really doing. In fact, I know that y'all have already started doing these farming techniques with turmeric and ginger, right? I think they're turmeric force and ginger force. So why did you start with these herbs, and are you planning to incorporate more or other ingredients in your portfolio later on?
Yeah, so we wanted to move towards using regeneratively farmed ingredients in New Chapter products. And, we are a little bit ahead of our time, a little bit innovating like we're known for. It's not easy to find regeneratively farmed ingredients. And so we said, what can we start to move towards to make an impact in our business, but also to start, really moving the regenerative needle forward. And so we were able to source regeneratively sourced supercritical extracts of both turmeric and ginger. And we wanted to incorporate those into our turmeric force and into our ginger force. We are moving towards using more regeneratively farmed ingredients, and that's an amazing step. Sometimes people are like, oh, well, it feels like an all or nothing thing, right? It's like, oh, if you're not going to do all your herbs, it's not worth it. And it's like, hey guys, like a small step in the right direction is still a great step in the right direction. And that's what we believe at New Chapter. We're moving towards the goal, and that means a lot to us. And so we've started to incorporate those nutrients and those plants and botanicals into our products, and we do have plans for expansion for more. So Great. Stay tuned, because us, we don't sit on our laurels at New Chapter.
That's right. It's going to keep going and growing. I mean, New Chapter has always, like you said, been ahead of the curve, and that's what I like about it. But having said that, we know there's 100 different turmerics on the market easily to choose from. And so why is New Chapter's turmeric force different from other turmerics on the market?
Sure. So, first of all, I'd like to say that I have a lot of respect for the many, suppliers of supplements out there, but I think it's important to differentiate yourself, within herbals, but within categories as well. As an herbalist, I really respect the power of the whole. Okay, so when we're talking about turmeric, what happens a lot is, and by the way, turmeric is like such a hot herb. Everybody needs to have it. Like they're like, oh, this is like the little black dress of herbs. Everybody's got to have it in their little supplement closet over there. That's and just, right. Bring it out every time you need a good dress, right? Exactly. or a good inflammation support supplement, right?
That's right. I've always said it was the new aloe vera of the world for sure.
It is. Yeah. And I think that, again, the research on turmeric is phenomenal, right? Like you look at the research and the multiple systems that it supports, and you say, I understand why people are really gravitating towards this herb. But what people tend to forget is that, in America, sometimes I think we have this bigger is better philosophy about things, right? And it's like, oh, why eat an 8-ounce hamburger when you can have 1.5 pounds of beef? Like, and you're like, oh my gosh, like, do we need that? And the thing is that we tend to sometimes take this approach with supplements too. So you'll see some companies say, okay, well, we don't want to use turmeric, we want to use curcumin, okay? And curcumin is a phytonutrient that's found in turmeric, but it's only one part of turmeric. And what frustrates me a little bit as an herbalist is that, they throw the rest of the herb away. They're just That's like, right. Oh, this is the only part that matters.
Like we didn't need it, yeah.
Like we didn't need it. And so as an herbalist, I have to say this, like I study herbs, and I am constantly amazed at the complex nature of botanicals and how different nutrients within different plants work together to synergistically create this amazing botanical that has so many supportive properties throughout the body. And sometimes I get frustrated because I'm like, how can you just isolate that down to one nutrient? How can you ignore the rest of nature's wisdom here? And I just get a little heated about it, because I'm just like, there's so many beautiful things that occur within within turmeric. other than just curcumin.
That's right.
And so at New Chapter, we combine the powers of supercritical extracts. So let me talk a little bit about why supercritical extracts are so cool for just a second, because I'm going to dork out here.
Yeah.
All right. So we supercritically extract our turmeric to get the oleoresinous. This is a fancy name for oily parts, guys. We get the oily parts of the plant out, okay? And we do it by pressing CO2, carbon dioxide. We push it through the plant at a really high pressure, and it takes out all these goodies, right? There's no, harsh chemical solvents. And I think that people don't realize that sometimes when people are extracting herbs, they're still using harsh chemical solvents. And we're talking about like 1,2-dichloroethane, which is a known human carcinogen. Like they use bad agents, and they're like, oh, don't worry about it. There's only like 5 parts per billion left. Yeah. Like it's not safe that levels, bad. Right? Well, and here's the thing, right? Like, it's like, I always make this joke about, like, if I invite you over for dinner and we make this beautiful stew and it's got, like, the grass-fed beef and the bone broth and stuff, and I even have, like, homemade bread and everything, and we're going to sit down and eat, and then right before we eat, I just put in, like, 1 little drop of gasoline. Like, it's only 1 little drop, guys. Like, why don't you want to come over anymore? Like, I don't understand.
That's a great analogy.
And, But this is what happens with people not understanding how their food is processed, how their supplements are processed. So in New Chapter, we use these clean extraction methods to get those oily parts of the plant out. But then we're not done. We use, a water extraction process called the aqueous extraction to get the water-soluble parts out. So now we marry the water-soluble parts with the oily parts of the plant, and we keep the plant together. Mm-hmm. And when you keep the different parts of the plant together, something really amazing happens. Guess what? It works really well, right? It works really well. And that's the thing, right? Is that, you can leave one part out. You can even whittle it down to 1 phytonutrient. But the question is what's going to work well in your body? And there are, the big thing about curcumin is that, like, it doesn't absorb very well, right? And everyone's like, oh, you need to put, like, this super critical black pepper in there to make sure that your body makes it absorb, right? A respect. Does it work? Yes. Is it the best methodology? In my opinion, I would pair it with other naturally occurring constituents from the plant, and nature takes care of the rest,
That's
and
right.
And that's what we believe in at New Chapter, and that's what we stand by for our turmeric. So it's a little bit different, but at the same time, it really is in accordance with nature, and it also includes, regeneratively farmed supercritical turmeric, which is a beautiful thing to help us start moving towards healthier soil and healthier people and a healthier planet.
That's a great point, Charlotte. I totally agree. It's that true definition of whole food nutrition. I mean, you're keeping all the ingredients together to create that synergistic effect. And I totally believe in that too. I see that work better than just any isolates that are out there. So I'm a big fan of the whole food and what New Chapter is already doing too. And I hope y'all keep doing it, because I know it works for people for sure. And I know one of your favorite herbs is ginger, right?
Oh my gosh. Can I just tell you that I have kind of a love affair with ginger? It's don't tell my husband.
Yes.
I love it. I think, as an herbalist, people ask me all the time, they're like, what's your favorite herb? And I'm like, oh, don't make me choose between my children. And yet, it's kind of like ginger.
Yep.
Don't make me choose, but it's ginger. What do I love about ginger? First of all, ginger has been used for centuries. I mean, it goes back to traditional Chinese medicine. And what I think of is it's like an unsung hero, right? When people have digestive upset, one of the first things they do is go, oh, I need some ginger ale, right? And it's the carbonation that's helping me, right? Well, yeah, first of all, guys, make sure that if you are going for ginger ale, that it actually has ginger in it. That's a really important note. Just a heads up if you're looking for some digestive
True
support.
Statement.
Ginger's amazing for that, but if you're taking a ginger ale that has fake ginger flavoring in it, that's not going to support your digestive health. So first of all, ginger has amazing digestive support, whether it's to help women who are pregnant during nausea, or, just again, helping to have a calming effect on your digestive system overall. But where people don't understand, that ginger is also effective is on inflammation support and especially with pain. So at New Chapter, we recently came out with a new product called Restful Sleep Plus Pain Relief, and it features melatonin paired with ginger. And, a friend of mine was like, ginger and pain doesn't seem to go,
right.
together. And so the crazy part is that 500 milligrams of ginger was shown to be just as effective on pain in research as ibuprofen. Now, the crazy part is that ibuprofen actually reduces the stomach lining and can actually cause digestive discomfort. And yet we tend to be a nation that we came home, we've been working on our feet all day, we're tired, we're achy, and people are like, I'm going to pop that ibuprofen. And what I'm trying to do, and what I think New Chapter is trying to do, is change the script and say, hey, hold up there, Turbo. Before you start popping ibuprofen, which you may need, and again, respect if you've worked that out with your medical provider, but before we start going there, can we take a look at ginger? Can we just take a look at the fact that the research is there to support ginger and pain relief? Can we take a look at the fact that ginger helps to balance and support inflammation levels within the body? And it could also support your digestive system as opposed to eroding your stomach lining.
Right.
And how beautiful is that, right? And so the power of plants is just astonishing. It astonishes me every day. But what I can tell you is that someone I think after, being home for a year, my exercise was not where it should have been. I'll be honest with you. When I started staying home oh man, it was like couch city. And so I decided, that I needed to get back on the horse or back on the road. And I strapped on my running shoes and I was like, this is gonna hurt. I was like, I just accepted. I was like, this is gonna hurt, you have no one to blame but yourself. And I went for a run, and when I came home, I popped my Zyflamin. Zyflamin's 10 herbs and spices that have been shown to support inflammation balance within the body. It includes ginger and turmeric. And, I was back out there the next day. And that was kind of remarkable to me, again, to just see, the power of herbs in supporting my daily, wellness. But at the same time, just the power of herbs in general is astonishing to me and something that I'm always amazed by and humbled by.
And that's what's really nice about, ginger itself. You're right. Most people do not know about the anti-inflammatory benefits it really carries. And I've heard that same story over and over again of people taking it going, wow, I didn't realize how powerful ginger was as an anti-inflammatory. So it is. I love what you said. We need to change that script because it has so many benefits with a lot less side effects than ibuprofen does. And so it's definitely something someone needs to consider before they take that next pain reliever, for sure. Charlotte, you are awesome. Thank you so much for being on the show today. As always, I can't wait to see more about what New Chapter does with all the new farming techniques that are coming available right now. And I look forward to any more research coming out of Rodale Institute too, showing us that, hey, this is better than what's on the market out there now. So it's just getting better and better.
Well, again, thank you for having me, and thank you for supporting us in our mission to help people and planet. And we appreciate the work that you guys do too.
Thanks so much, Charlotte.
Thank you.
I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Healthy Approach Podcast. Be sure to subscribe if you like this podcast and help us spread the word by rating and sharing with your friends and family. If you'd like to learn more about what New Chapter products can do for your health, go to sunflowershoppe.com. That's shop with 2 P's and an E, or visit us at one of our 2 locations in the Dallas-Fort Worth area.